everyone, and welcome to another episode of Wednesday's Winning Woman. Today with me, I have a very special guest. I really enjoy all these episodes, but I'm blessed to actually have a lot of iconic women as actual friends. And today is no exception. So I'm very excited to just kind of talk to my friend and you guys get to know her. By trade right now, she is the Vice President of Supplier Management and Sales Enablement at Upstack. She's held many positions in this space at Pax8 and Intelisys. She's been in this business for a while, being very successful. So please join me in welcoming Danielle DeCosta to our show. How are you?
I am good, Brandon. Thank you so much for
Yo,
inviting me to the
it's
show.
so good to see you,
Excited.
man. You look. Let's talk about you today. Okay. And like I said, you've been in the game for a minute. So your latest thing is with Upstack. And okay, so everyone in the industry probably knows who Upstack is. And when you say sales enablement, we know what that is. But for someone who might be watching who isn't familiar with our industry, tell us about what you do.
Sure. So, as you mentioned, I'm the Vice President of Supplier and Sales Enablement at Upstack. We're a bit of a startup still, so that means a lot of different things. I wear a ton of different hats, right? That's not unique
Yes.
to me, but I certainly do. At a high level, it's more or less I have two teams under me. One of them that oversees and runs all of supplier services, you could call it, right? From acquisition to experience and kind of go to market and MDF strategy there to help drive sales activity. Then
Mhm.
on the other side, I have what we call sales enablement, but most people would know that as pre-sales or sales support. So
I got
a
it.
phenomenal team that is under me that supports our advisory partners, our sales team, our customer success team, and all of their back office through order submission and order entry.
Awesome, awesome. Thank you. Thank you. It's always good to hear those explanations and definitions because like I said, we live this and so we know what certain things are, but
Sure.
there's a wider audience. Thankfully, I guess it's a good thing. There's a wider audience that have been watching these episodes. And so I want them to kind of get a little peek behind that.
Sure.
So I jump right in. The first one is about accomplishments. And I mean, I met you moons ago, you know, as you were
Yes.
building out your Intelisys brand and career, and you've gone on to other things since then. But if you had to pick an accomplishment, just one you wanted to share, and it's business or professional, I'm running 50-50 right now with these. What's one that you want to share with the audience?
So I don't know if it's something that I can just pinpoint and say this specific thing. It's kind of more or less this journey that I've been on and the place that I'm at right now being very comfortable in it. And it's really around leadership and people
Mhm.
leadership specifically. And the majority of my career when I started, I was more or less kind of an individual contributor for a lot of it in the beginning. You know, I could lead things, I could be in charge of things, I could do whatever and kind of execute, but it's very different when you are responsible for other people and their careers and their
Absolutely.
development, you know, and you spend so much time at work, right? And then
Mhm.
keeping people happy and that balance of work life. And
Mhm.
when I moved into roles of leadership and people leadership, you know, I posted about this not too long ago. I think I was my worst enemy for so long, and I had so much self doubt within myself
Mhm.
about, you know, could I lead people? Why would anybody listen to me? Could they take me seriously? And it
Mhm.
took a very long time for me to actually be comfortable with saying that I am in a leadership role, right? That I'm a leader
Yeah.
and a people leader. And my time at Upstack recently, you know, we're very focused on kind of building things out, and there's a lot of work that goes into keeping people inspired and motivated, which I'm very passionate about.
Mhm.
And over the last year, you know, kind of reflecting, I feel so comfortable finally saying that I'm a people leader and that I, you
Yeah.
know, am in leadership roles and positions and, you know, finally overcoming a lot of that kind of well, maybe what people would call imposter syndrome or that
Mhm.
self-doubt that you're constantly battling with, am I supposed to be doing this? And I have loved the journey and there's so much work to be done, right? I think it's a never ending thing. It's a practice. There's work that goes into being a good leader and it's ever
Mhm.
evolving, but I feel so comfortable now with this role and I'm just really excited about what's to come. So I would say that's probably what I would say is one of my biggest
Yeah.
accomplishments so far.
I think that's amazing because I think about one just you being in leadership, but also I think about um, your personality. right, who you are. And I think that lends itself a lot to, like you said, being a good leader.
Hmm.
Because and let's be transparent. Some people are trying to be managers, and some
There's a
people are trying to
difference.
be bosses.
There is a
Okay,
difference.
all
A
right,
hundred-
and then there's the people that are trying to be leaders, and
Yep.
those are different paths. For those of you that are watching, I will tell you, it's different. Leading someone, and leading people, to Danielle's point, is also different than leading projects and leading initiatives and things like that.
Totally.
But I wonder, along those same lines, though, because um you're just like lovable. I don't want your people that report to you to get through all it, but you really are, like, you're just like an amazing, lovable, fun person. So do you did was some of your challenge in the beginning, like that's good when you have people that follow direction and do what they're supposed to, right? And I don't
Mhm.
want you to say any names, but have
No,
you have you come across any challenging areas yet where
100%.
there's someone who's not
Yeah.
really doing right?
Yeah.
Because that's a different type of leading you got to do.
It's very
It might
different.
not be natural for you.
A
You
hundred
know?
percent. And that was a big part of the struggle, right? It's, um, I want everyone to like me, but part of kind of growing in, personally and professionally is you kind of have to understand that not everyone is going to, and at the end of the day, like you have a job to do and things are business, but you can still figure out a way to reach people and connect with people. And, I've had some not great leaders and some great leaders, right?
Mhm.
And I look
As
at a
we
lot
all.
of people, right? I look at a lot of people as leaders and mentors, like you are certainly one of them, Angie Toko. I've never reported to you guys, but I think as far as people that I've reported to directly, Stacey Pompey, Jess Maria, Nick Caruso that I report to right now, they do a phenomenal job. I can be challenging. I can be challenging, right? My personality, right? Like I'm emotional when I know something's right or I want to do something, like, and I got to be patient. Like I can be a handful sometimes. And the way that they give me the space not only to be great and to elevate and to stumble and make mistakes, but they give me the space to kind of stumble through and thrash through those challenges without popping me on the nose or punishing me or whatever, right? So I
Right.
take that and I don't take that for granted. It's so appreciated. And I try to, take that appreciation for that and instill it in my leadership and what I do for other people. So
Yeah.
maybe we don't see eye to eye, but I think it's my responsibility to figure out how do I reach this person? What makes them tick? What motivates them? What inspires them? And what can I do to create space to get them there? And sometimes, it doesn't always work, but, I try really hard to get there for sure. And
Yeah.
just being real and authentic and transparent and genuine and empathetic in my approach because that's kind of who I am anyway. So I want
Exactly. I was going to say that's just you, and the fact that you're able to do that, um, and bring that into your business persona, I think is amazing. So congratulations on that accomplishment.
yeah, appreciate
Um,
it.
Next, I want to know one of your goals. I know you're a goal setter. I know you plan for, where you want to be and what you want to do with that. But we're still kind of early in 2023. So what's one of your goals for this year? What's one of the things Danielle's looking to accomplish?
So, being in the industry for almost 20 years, one of the things I'm incredibly passionate about, and I'll speak to anybody, is regardless of what role you're in, you need to understand the technology because we're in technology, right? You need to understand a few layers deeper than the average person. And I've always had a lot of pride in my technical acumen and being
Mhm.
very close to technology. I'm not an engineer, but I can sure speak dangerously to someone about technology. And the last 3 years of my career between Paxton and Upstack have been build mode. And it's very different, right? And it's from scratch. So it's a different focus, it's a different mindset. So you can't always be, up here.
Right.
You gotta kind of be in the weeds and really ingrained in the details and making sure that you're building something that works and is successful. So
Mhm.
although I stay close to technology and I still feel confident in my ability to speak to it, I don't feel as close to it. And I feel like there's a lot of things emerging and evolving so quickly that my
Mhm.
goal for 2023 is to figure out a way to get closer to that technology and feel a little bit more confident and comfortable speaking to it and kind of understanding it. So that's really where I want to focus in this year.
Yeah. It's funny that you chose that as a focus. I'm not gonna put anybody business in the street, okay? But I know along the way of building a career, there's been some fogey stogie engineer type smart guys who don't always take well to a woman, especially not a young woman, you know,
Yep.
stepping in and understanding how technology works and being able to not only critique but offer like viable feedback. So I know you've had some fun challenges there. Like I said, I'm not calling any of them out,
We
but
won't say names. We'll just know what happens
you're gonna
to everybody. That's a challenge of being a woman in this world, in sales and technology. And I
yeah,
couldn't, and I say it again, like I could never say it enough to anybody, but especially women, especially young women coming into this channel. This is not just a channel in sales, like this is technology. And
yeah,
you just add so much value to yourself when you can speak about the technology, regardless
absolutely.
of what role. And I'll get off my soapbox,
100%.
but I'm so passionate about that.
100%.
Yes.
100%. Um, and I'll take it a step forward again. This is Brandon's opinion. This is not Danielle or Upstack or Zoom. But I will tell you this: as a woman in this space, especially a young woman in this space, if you don't really learn enough to talk intelligently about the technology, you run the risk of being typecast. You run
Yes.
the risk of being, oh, she's a woman, but she can be over here. She can
She's a
stand
note
at the booth
taker.
and
She's a
look.
note
Right,
taker in meetings.
exactly.
Yeah,
So
totally.
I'm not saying I like it. I'm just saying that's the way it is. I tell people all the time, I didn't make the game, but I know how it's played.
100%.
And if you want to be successful, it helps to know the technology. All right,
Agree.
so the last one is on advice that you would give a younger Danielle. All right, now of course we're not going back that far because you ain't even, you might not be, you're not far enough removed. But if you had an opportunity to tell your younger self something, a piece of advice that you think would have helped you along the way, what would it
Sure.
be?
Well, I'm almost 40, so I feel like I've got
You feel like you got some in
I'll
there?
be 39 this year, so I
Yes.
got
All
enough
right. All
mindset.
right.
Um, gosh, what would I tell young DDC? There's so many things I would tell her. But I think the first thing I would say, and this all kind of ties into all the answers that I've kind of been giving, is do not ever let anybody else dictate and determine your value and self-worth.
Say it
Ever.
again. Say it live for the people in the back.
Do not
Yes.
ever
Yes.
allow
Yes.
someone to dictate your
Yeah.
value and your self-worth ever.
Exactly.
You truly hold the keys to that.
Mhm.
And just like, and I would tell little Danielle, just like you give so much grace to everybody else and you're gentle with everyone and understanding, do
Mhm.
that for yourself, because
Yeah.
the work of finding your value and maintaining that and sustaining that is just that, it's work and it's
Yeah.
practice and it's ensuring you have alignment. For me, it's physically, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. And you can only do that when you prioritize yourself and your well-being. And then when you do that, you'll truly understand and sustain your self-value and your self-worth, and all the noise from the outside and third-party opinions and people
Mhm.
that think they know or whatever the case is, it won't even bother you because you'll be so set in standing in your own confidence and courage and self-love and care, it won't even matter. And that's what I
I
would say to her.
absolutely love that. I absolutely love that. That is one thing I say a lot. If you know your own value,
Hmm.
then you're less likely to be swayed, with someone else's negative opinion
Yep.
or even their own attempt to devalue you, because there are people out, look, there's people out here, again, I'm not saying no names, you
You
know,
won't.
but there are people out here trying to buy, YSL and Gucci bags at a discount. Okay. I
Right.
mean, they out here and they want your level of talent and professionalism and what you bring to the table, but they want to belittle it so it can be cheaper for them, or they can put something else on the shelf or whatever it is. And one of the things you said that I want to say again, because I think it's important people to get, you have to be the holder of your own value.
Hmm.
You have to be, because if you get your value from what other people think, then you can lose your value, and it can be taught to you. So I absolutely love that. Um, and I want to say, since this is specifically, the title is for men, even though this isn't just for this, that advice just isn't for women, but I do think it's important for women, because I think And again, it's not the whole world, and it's not everyone, but there are times when, if a guy has confidence and value, in himself, then he can stand up for himself, and he's seen
Right.
as, even if he's direct, he's seen as a shrewd business person, or he makes sound decisions, or he's not going to be a pushover.
Right.
Unfortunately, in some cases, a woman who has the same thing, who simply wants to have value for herself and stand up for herself and be confident, we got names for them, you
Oh,
know,
I've heard
you
them.
know, and
I've
so
heard
I
them.
think so I think it is worth noting that we endeavor for that to be less and less in
Hmm.
our space. We endeavor
For
for
sure.
that to be less prominent, less evident, and we want to make it safe and comfortable for women to be strong, to be empowered, to speak their mind, to share their intelligence without, somebody being offended. That's one of the main reasons why I wanted to do this. So
I love it.
I thank you not only for being a great friend, but for being a living example, for other people and for yourself, man. It's awesome to see um kind of like where you were in your growth when I met you to where you are now, even, and it kind of gives a good peek into the future, because you're nowhere near done. I mean, I know you mentioned you about to be, 39 and all that, but
It's
but
true.
you're not done. There's there's
Right.
there's still more to do, and so I thank you for sharing with us,
Thank you.
um and spending some time with us. And thank you guys out there for spending time and getting to know my friend a little better. And as you know, we have the 3 takeaways of acknowledge, support, and promote. So from acknowledgement's perspective, if you're not already a part of Danielle's network, please go do that. Join her network on LinkedIn. Support what she posts, support what Upstack is doing, any events or anything they have going on, and promote. As from a sales enablement perspective, if you're a partner who could use the benefits, or if you're already a member of Upstack or you're thinking about it, just promote what they're doing, and let's build her network together. So thank you for joining us, and I'll
Thank
see
you.
you next week.